Hi everybody, my name is Joe. I'm a 5th Dan under Sensei Otero. I started Goshin Jutsu Karate in 1995, January of 95. I was 14 years old, if you math. In 2009, I got to travel to South Korea, and I got married, and I studied Heidon Komdo. Yeah, it was a good year. I got to study Heidon Komdo, which is a Korean sword martial art using the curved katana style blade, just like Japanese styles. It's a super fun art if you ever have the chance to train beyond just training here today for the next half an hour. I recommend it, it's a blast. And I got my black belt the next year in 2010 in Saha Heidon Komdo Gym in Busan, South Korea, which is kind of a cool experience. So first of all, first things first, these things that are in your hand are made out of wood, they're for training, but they are in fact deadly weapons. If you don't believe me, Paul said he'd volunteer, you can hit it once and see the reaction.
I can only volunteer once.
No. Joking aside, the point is be careful. You have a finite amount of space. These are longer than your hands are. So when you're doing these strikes, you reach a little farther than you might be used to. If you hit somebody, there's 2 people to blame, and only one person's going to suffer. It's bad. So make sure you're careful about not hitting people. Fair enough?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, so that's enough history. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some Heidon Komdo techniques and some sports psychology stuff that I've been reading about lately, and how I use these Heidon Komdo techniques in the sports psychology to inform my karate. Sound good?
Yes.
All right, awesome. So let's start with the Heidon Komdo techniques. First of all, we're going to hold the swords in our left hand. There are no left-handed swordsmen, so we need our right hand to draw. If you're left-handed, too bad. There's no left-handed swordsmen in Asian martial arts.
No left-handed swordsmen.
No. The blade side is up. I'm holding them on my left hip. If you want to go all authentic on me, tuck it in the belt. Then you can tuck it back here and you can have conversations and look really, really good. Normally when I'm wearing a sword, I'm the coolest guy in the room, but everybody's got swords, so I'm like somewhere in the middle of the pack. Okay, let's start with the draw. In Korean, it's baldo. I don't remember the Japanese. I used to know what the Japanese for drawing in sword was.
Bato.
What is it?
Bato.
Bato?
Yeah.
Bato. So it's very simple. Baldo. So if I say baldo, we're going to draw our sword. We're going to draw from just a comfortable stance for now. We'll get into a different stance a little bit later. So it's sort of like that boxer stance, but we're going to take our right foot and move it a little bit forward. Kind of like a cat stance, but I'm putting my foot down and leaning my posture forward. Everything's about posturing. The stances aren't quite as defined as they are in karate. It's about my intention. So if I'm sitting like this, there's a certain intention. You feel like we're comfortable. If I'm sitting like this, the intention just changed. But it's very subtle. I move my center of gravity maybe 6 inches forward. Okay. So in sword stances, we have a 3-foot razor blade. Everything's kind of aggressive. Fair enough? Okay.
But you tell me one time there is no retreat.
Yeah, I have a 3-foot razor blade. I'm going to catch you. That's about the end of the story. To draw. Now this sword is too long for me to just draw. My arm isn't long enough to actually pull it out of my belt. If I really stretch, I can get it out. But I think that's no good. I don't want to sacrifice my balance. I'm already forward. If I have to lean forward more, that's no good. When I do this, my arm's getting cut off. So that's no good. A good draw, you can draw from the floor. Even if he puts his hand on the sword, I can still draw and cut. He can't stop me from doing that. If I try to just pull it out, I really can't do it. There's minimal effort, and he stopped me. So, I turn the blade out slightly so that I can fit it into my hand comfortably. So left hand, holding just below where the guard would be. If you have one of the ones with the guard, then that's good. So just on the blade side, remember it's in a sheath. So we're going to turn it out, and the meat of my hand is going to come up to the middle, so I can grip it with my right hand. I'm going to start pulling it out like this, straight out like you would just pull it out. But I need a little bit of extra space. So where do I get that extra space from? I'm going to turn my hips. I turn my hip away, it allows me to pull the sword out. When you're pulling a sword out, usually you have ill intentions in mind. So we're going to express those ill intentions. So we're going to pull the sword out when I say baldo. Make sure you have space to do this. And we're going to do this. I say baldo. Hey! Then we come to the middle. All right, ready? Make sure you're not getting hit anybody. You promise me? Okay, because I don't want to lose the promises. If Eddie gets mad at me, I don't want to take that. I can't handle it. All right, ready? Baldo. And in the middle. Good. Now we've drawn the sword. We want to relax our shoulders. This is a razor blade. It's really easy to cut stuff with. I've cut all kinds of stuff, bamboo and fruit and rice sheets. It's really fun, but it's not hard. It doesn't take muscle to do it. So being strong is really an advantage. We want to be relaxed. My right hand is just below where the guard would be. My left hand is at the bottom, and there's about a fist's distance in between my two hands. So far, so good?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to show you the basic cut. And the good thing about that is every single cut we do is this cut, just at different angles. So the basic cut looks like this. If I want to cut somebody's wrist, it's the same cut, it's just at a different angle. If I want to cut somebody's belly, it's the same cut, it's just across the bottom. If I want to come across underneath their guard, it's the same cut, I just change the angle that I'm doing it. So if you learn this and you drill it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, awesome, because you're going to be good at every single other cut. Anybody sciencey in here? Okay. We got some sciencey people in here. If I take a spring and I stretch that spring out and I let it go, what happens?
Energy is really fast.
Right, I am putting energy into the system and I'm releasing that energy out. That's what I'm doing with my hands. I never, ever, ever do this because I've released all of my energy. It's going to be tempting to do that, but you're not going to want to do that. These three fingers are holding nice and tight. These three fingers are not good at fine-tuned muscle control. They're good at gross muscle control. So they're going to be kind of gripping. These fingers are much better at the fine control. So these are the ones that are helping me control my angles. But these fingers are going to stretch like springs, and then when I strike, they're going to recoil, snapping it down, using all of my leverage. The curvature of the blade is an advantage here, because as I'm cutting into my bad guy, I want to snap right here, because this is a really, really hard spot, especially on Darren. But once it goes in there, we're good to go. And the curvature of the blade allows it to come through and come back out, so I can cut the next person. If I try to, well, it's already in there, and I try to move, it's going to snap my blade. They're really strong this way, but they're not really strong this way. So it enters the bad guy, exits the bad guy, goes on to the next. So I'm going to do it, and you're going to do it. So it comes up, and I stretch those fingers out. I don't release them. I just stretch them out and make sort of a triangle here. And then that triangle gets really small really fast. Good. I love that sound. Isn't that a good sound? Awesome. Let's do it again. Ready?
Your fingers in.
Yeah, you're squeezing. It's squeezing them together. Good. So back and strike. You can ki if you want. I like ki. I like hearing these things. Ready? And back. Strike. Good. Don't try to muscle. Don't make it happen. You are not robots. You are samurai. Right? Confident. We're just allowing the sword to cut because that's what it wants to do. That's what it's made for.
Dr. Chesson,
Yes, sir.
you're not striking, you're slicing.
Yeah. Allow the sword to do its job. Its job is to cut. Ready? I'm just going to say, oi, you do the whole thing. Oi! Good. If you feel really comfortable with that, two things to know. I don't want to, like, okay, I cut Darren. If I let this go all the way down, his buddy saw me cut him up. He's going to want to, cut me too. So I don't want to do that. That's sort of sacrificing my balance. I come to completion. If I missed, I can still stab him. And if I got him, I can go on to the next guy really comfortably. Does that make sense? So don't let it pull you forward and don't stop early. Let it come to full completion. The idea is you don't want to break your wrists. They just come to a comfortable, completed position. And you don't want it to be any closer than a fist from your belt. Because that hurts. Don't do that. That's a bad idea. So far so good. Let's try a couple more. If you're feeling really comfortable with that, you feel like you got it down, there's a little bit more subtlety in your body dynamics. You're going to drop your weight a little bit and then raise your weight as you strike down. It allows you to put your full body behind the technique. I can do some damage with my hands, my arms, but if I use my body, I can do a lot of damage. There's mass here, inertia. Ready? Oi! Good. Oh, that looks so good. Oi! 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 Doesn't that look good? Does it feel good? Is not good enough. I don't like it. Alright. Yay or nay? Do or do not, there is no try. Okay. Let's spice it up just a little bit.
Sounds familiar?
Let's add an angle. If Darren's in his guard and I want to cut his wrist, if I come straight, I'm kind of stabbing myself, right? So what I'm going to do is angle the sword just very slightly. Just take it off to this, like over my ear and come back to the middle. So that way I'm going to come in. If I cut that wrist, he can't cut me anymore. He is disarmed. That was a joke. Thank you. All right, ready?
He does more of
We had to practice that in the mirror this morning.
Thanks for letting us know it was a joke.
I obviously had you, don't laugh. Ready? What? 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 And you can do either wrist, right? I can go to the other side. Try the other side. What? 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 Okay. Now we're going to do what I call the anime cut. It's actually called the X cut in Korean. X-jabegi is the Korean word for this cut. In Japanese, it's called kesagiri, because they were the monks would wear a kesa, is a sash across their chest. And this cut traces that sash. Just put this away. You've seen it in the anime movies, if you ever watched them, where they cut them like this, they turn around, and the person's body kind of separates. It's a neat effect, right? So that's what we're going to do. Same thing, we're just increasing the angle and coming down across. Instead of stopping at the wrist, we're actually going to come down and across. It goes a little bit farther, but we're still not breaking the wrists. So it doesn't go past completion, it just goes to completion. That's perfect. Ready? What? 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 Awesome. Professionals. You guys are too good. I'm working with really good people. That's excellent. Let's all face the front of the room. Let's hold, I define this as the front today. It's always the front, right? Just show me. I'm going to show you the first series in a form called Songsu Ilbon. It's Songsu number 2. There's a series of forms. There's, I think, 12 of them. In the Songsu series, this is the second. The first one's a little boring, so I wanted to give you something a little bit more exciting. Don't hit the camera, don't hit each other. Okay? We're going to start having already drawn the sword. There's a special baldo for all the forms. It's not all that difficult, but I want to get right into the form. So we're going to start from here. The first movement is deflection. You don't block with the sword, because if I try to block Mr. Coons with the sword, my sword's going to break, and he's going to cut me anyway. Right? That just doesn't work. You don't block. I'm going to redirect his sword. I'm going to create an angle, and I'm going to block with the fattest part of my blade, which is the back of the blade. I don't want to chip up. Swords are expensive. I don't want to get it all chipped up. So I'm going to block like this, and come down across with that kesagiri cut. I'm also going to go into the suckiest of all kundo stances. That's an official term. It's called sodose. And sodose is an almost kneeling stance. If you can't do it, if your knees hurt, or if you just can't do it, that's fine. You can just go into a deep stance, or actually just kneel. Either way is fine. But sodose is like this, where I'm almost on my knee. Can everybody see that? It works your tummy. It's a great thigh workout.
Try doing that 100 times.
Yep. So, it's going to look like this. If you can't see me, make sure you can see me. Block, back, sodose. Good. Let's do it again. Ready? What? Good. So if I'm coming at Mr. Coons, he's going to block, deflect, and then come across solos.
Your knee doesn't touch, does it?
It does not touch. It almost touches, but it doesn't touch.
It's not going to touch anymore.
We wear those big Hakama style pants, so sometimes I cheat, but don't tell myself. No, I don't actually cheat. I'm believing it. Ready? What? Uh-oh, there's a bad guy coming behind me. I'm going to turn. I'm in essentially a cat stance. And now I'm going to do that deflection again, just like I did before. Step through with your right foot. So roll stand. Good. I'm going to go to the back of the room. And we're going to do that again. Everybody face the front. Ready? And block. So those they cut. Good. Turn. Block. So those they cut. Excellent. One more time.
Which side? Do you turn this way or this side?
You got it right. You did it right. I was watching you. Okay. Ready? I'm just going to say oi. We're going to do both moves. Oi. Well, you know what? We missed that guy behind us. We're going to have to go back the way we came. We're going to do the exact same thing, but we're going backwards, back towards number 1 wall. What? Block. So those things. Yeah, you got it. You nailed it. I knew you would too. That's why I didn't even talk it. Let's do it one more time. Yes, you got it. Ready. What? 1. That. 2. Now go back the way we came. Unlock. That's correct. It's an interesting thing because it seems so hard to do until you do it one time. You do it one time right, you're like, yeah, that's how it works. Right feels right. And once you get it one time, correct. Let's do it 2 more times, then I'm going to start talking about psychology.
I was going to say the last cut is left or right. When you come back around.
Yeah. Left and knee right. Correct.
We're still on the right knee.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're still on the right where we step forward.
Why don't we do it together? Why don't we do it together?
You go.
No, because it's good teaching. Why? 1. Good. 2. Good. Back. 3. Right step through. Cut down to the right. Excellent. 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 There's more to this, obviously. It's a really fun form. That's the first series.
We're not black belts yet.
You're really close. You're on the tipping point. Okay. Yes, sir.
Come around here, does it go all the way to here, or does it go?
No, it's going to be actually the same locking motion that we did before, and then it comes down. So it doesn't swing. It goes to position, and my body moves. A lot of this Kunda stuff looks amazing. Like there's some really cool spins we do and jumps, but really, you're putting the sword in position and then moving your body to maximize your effectiveness. All right. Move to the side just for a second. Pontification. Psychology. I'm going to read, and if you want to really feel cool, yeah. Hi. Okay. So I play a lot of sports throughout my life, and I do martial arts as well. Martial arts is amazing. It's such a good experience because it's full, not just full body, it's not just full mind, it's full person, right? There's spirit involved. There's mentality. You have to think. You have to control your body with your mind and put spirit behind your techniques. You can't progress without growing as a person through the martial arts. That's truly my belief. It's been certainly life-changing for me to have trained. So I see the effects everywhere. As Darren was saying, building off of sort of what you were saying, why do I do this stuff? One, it's beautiful. I love it. It makes me grow as a person. 2, doing this sword stuff helps my empty hand stuff as well. If I can project my energy through this sword, it's that much easier to project my energy through this punch. Get full extension through a weapon as well as through my hands. I learned new ways to move my body, new ways to control my body. It's not karate, obviously. Those moves didn't feel like karate. They felt similar, but they're different enough you have to stretch your mind to be able to do it. So there's psychology there. So thanks for setting the stage for that one. Thing number 2 that I want to talk about with psychology is I can never sleep. Weird transition, I know I shifted gears on it. But I have a lot of trouble with insomnia. I just can't fall asleep at night. I have trouble settling my mind down. It's always moving. It's not always making any sense. It's not always thinking about something smart. Like, man, I screwed up in 3rd grade. I can't believe I can still remember. I just can't turn it off. Until I had a conversation with Master Capello once where he was talking about how he visualizes his martial arts. And I do a lot of, like I said, I played sports throughout my life, and I've read about sports psychology, and one of the things that they all have in common, they all talk about visualization. And generally speaking, sports psychologists say it doesn't matter how you visualize, it just matters that you visualize. So I started doing this because I'm lying in bed, I'm not going to waste that time, I might as well put the mind to some sort of good use. I would walk through my forms, walk through my techniques in my mind. I found it helped me relax. It allowed me to sort of turn off that background noise and focus on something that I really cared about, that I was passionate about, and it actually helped me sleep, which is kind of neat. So again, it doesn't matter how you do it, it just matters that you do it. I want to share with you 2 ways that I do visualization. Then we're going to try it with the thing I just taught you. And then we'll actually do that thing I just taught you and see if it gets any better. Sounds good? You like that idea?
Yes.
I like that idea, so it doesn't matter. Okay. So the first method I use is first person. If you've played first-person shooter games, you're familiar with this idea? First person means I'm seeing out of my own eyes. Right? In my mind, I'm not moving, but in my mind, I'm moving. And I'm seeing what I would see. I'm feeling from inside of my body what I would feel. So how does it feel to go into Sorose oh, my leg is shaking, I feel that. Even though I'm not doing it, I'm able to convince myself that I'm doing it. Not physically, but just inside of my mind. And I go through each movement in as excruciating detail as I am capable of doing from my own perspective. All right, that's method number one, easy enough. Method number two, third person. I'm a camera on the wall, looking down at myself, watching myself from multiple perspectives. And this one I found more challenging, but a little bit more rewarding, because I had to think about stuff that I don't think about otherwise. So I'm seeing what the stance looks like. I'm seeing, oh no, my knee touched the ground, right? Okay, don't do that. I'm seeing myself holding that knee up off of the ground. I'm watching this and critiquing myself doing it as I'm doing it. Do those two things make sense? Yes. All right, why don't we give it a try? So if you're comfortable sitting in Seiza, you can sit in Seiza. You can just sit cross-legged. Sit comfortably on the floor for a second. Oh yeah, when you don't want to sit with your sword in your belt. It's not comfortable, and it's also not accessible if somebody comes in. So it's right on my left side. It's easy to grab if I need it. Okay. All right. We're going to elementary school. Close your eyes, everybody. Take deep breaths. In your nose, out your mouth. Visualize a ripply pond. Every time you breathe out, that pond gets a little bit calmer. You tell it. I use it all the time. In and out. When your mind becomes like still water, when you see the reflection, we're ready to begin. Put yourself in your body. You're in your dojo. You're the only one there. And we're going to do that form that we just did. You just learned it, but all those techniques are in your mind. Breathe and begin your form. Slowly, feel the movements. There's a block. There's a kesageri cut. There's a turn, repeat the movement, block, step through, kesageri cut. Going back the way we came, turning the opposite direction, back to the front, block, kesageri cut. Stand up, resheath your sword, open your eyes.
I did real good.
I was impressed. I was impressed by what I saw. Let's try it again just by ourselves. I'm not going to walk you through it this time. I wanted to just refresh the movements in your mind because they're brand new. This time I'm not going to do it. Ready? Begin. If you find yourself going through it too quickly, consciously slow yourself down. Feel the movements. When you're done, open your eyes. Good. I think that's everybody. All right. Now we're taking ourselves outside of our body. And this is not very scientific. If we were scientifically doing this, we would do our form right now and see if it affected it. But I'm just doing this efficiently for time. We're going to do both of these, just see if either of them has an effect. All right, so now we're going to watch from the outside. We don't necessarily feel the movements, but we focus on them, we think about them, we're conscious of them as we're watching ourselves do the form. We see ourselves. It's not somebody else doing the form, it's us. We're watching us do that form. Again, we're going to put ourselves in the empty dojo. We're going to prepare ourselves with the ripply pond. I'm not going to take you through each step. We're going to do it individually. Are you ready? All right, begin. Once again, open your eyes when you finish. Excellent. Stand up. Carry that with you. Hello. All right. Korean for starters. Shita. So I'll say Shita. Wow. Wow. Okay, I don't know if you felt the difference, confidence in your movements. That was excellent. I wasn't sure how that was going to play out. That played out really well. So obviously there's lots of applications to this. I use it to fall asleep. I use it to, when I can't actually physically go out and train, I do this all the time. It helps me maintain my focus. First of all, any questions about any of that stuff I just talked about?
We refer to it here at the dojo because we refer to it as using the third eye. Visualizing yourself, doing it correctly without mistake.
If you can't do it correctly without mistaking here, probably going to struggle doing it out here as well. And again, it doesn't matter how you do it, those are just two techniques that I use, just that you do it. That's a general consensus amongst sport psychologists.
You do that just before tournaments, so being a student, right?
Oh, I don't my other time. I was gonna show you the next three moves. All right, just go to the side. I'll show you the whole form, and I'll tell you where you can access it if you want to learn more. Hopefully, I don't forget it. Visualize first.
Actually, I can get it in the video.
So that's the whole form. You got the first bite of it. If you want to see it, like there's a video of it posted on my website, I'm happy to share that. Thank you very much.
So, my instructor, Master Capello, was talking to him once, and he says, yeah, he says, I just have some sort of internal clock that says when my black belts need a promotion. And I said, well, I'm not sure if my internal clock is maybe a little slow, because the gentlemen here have been with me many years. And one of the things that I was really asking of them is now that you're not training directly under me, what are you doing with your training? Ryan raised some really good, I'm just talking about our style, but Ryan raised some really good points about Goshin Jutsu, karate, and what is it exactly. And one of my other black belts has been asking me, well, what makes a style different than another style? But I think one thing that is worth exploring, and this is just for a later talk, is just keep thinking about what are the principles, not the rules, but the principles. Because there's always an exception to a rule, but what are the principles, the guiding principles of my art? I was training with Darren the other day in Jiu-Jitsu and considering the same thing. I said, there are millions of techniques, right? And if you could learn millions of techniques, and they could all be very good, but when you encounter something that you haven't encountered before, you need to rely back on a principle in order to respond. You can't rely on here's my technique against a hook punch. You have to rely on, I don't know, I didn't, this is unexpected, so what are my principles? Some of you already can start going through your mind of what are the principles of my karate, of my individual karate, of my style. I used to say, I said, what have I actually learned as far as self-defense in all these years doing karate? And what I think I've learned how to do is, when I'm surprised, is to drop my center and touch my abdomen. I think that's about it. It seems kind of silly, but my response isn't this. Unfortunately, had a girlfriend who, unfortunately for her, she would sometimes surprise me at my house, and she sometimes would learn that the fight was on because I didn't know somebody was entering. Because suddenly, I'm ready to go. Anyway, without further ado, I'd like to do a few promotions here. So, and I don't want to get too lengthy, but you know, Ryan Coons was mentioning something about me having students with a lot of natural ability, and he said he didn't have any. I can relate to that because I didn't have any either, but it's persistence that paid off. And some of the guys know this story, but there's another individual who started with Coons. And when I first saw Coons, it was at Joe's graduation party, and they were playing volleyball. And you know, they hit it over, and every time they went to Coons, he'd hit it, it'd go all askew and everything like this. And it became kind of a group joke. Well, Coons just isn't athletic, he's not coordinated. And so he had a friend who came to class, and he was doing that same kind of joking about Coons. And I used to be a bit meaner than I am now. And so I just said to him, I said, I guess what? I bet you're going to quit and he's going to get a black belt. And it did. That's exactly what happened. So anyway, Ryan, come on up. This is to certify that Ryan Coons on the 17th day of August 2019 is contested physically and mentally and shown all the requirements and knowledge in the art of Goshin Jutsu Karate to confer upon him the rank of Yodan, making him a member of good standing of the Dojo Goshin Jutsu Karate Dojo. Yodan.
Coons.
Big step. Oh, I see. That's very symbolic. I was wondering about that. My uniform is looking like it's had a few years on it. And that's why. Okay, thank you. Mike. All right, Mike. And Mike, as you saw today, he was doing all the things with kata, and he is somebody who kind of came to the dojo with a natural ability, a natural affinity for kata. He always had very perfect form. You know, he had that aesthetic eye, and he's an artist. He was able to take that visual art and take it into this physical art, and very beautifully so. So this is to certify that Mike Zielinski, on the 17th day of August 2019, has contested physically and mentally and shown all the requirements and knowledge in the art of Goshin Jutsu Karate to confer upon him the rank of Yodan, making him a member of good standing of the Dojo Goshin Jutsu Karate Dojo. Yodan Shikari. You're my figure. Thank you. Got you that longer one. So you might have to gain some more weight. So you're not being, I'll move this a bit. Okay. I don't think you got that. Not at all. You do a bigger though. Bigger, good one. All right, and then Darren Italiani has trained with me since he was a kid, and he was really fortunate or unfortunate for him that when I first started teaching, I was 19 years old. I ran into somebody who used to train with my instructor, and then he said, "Hey, come over to my dojo," and I did, and ended up running all his classes for him. And so when Darren started, I was learning how to teach. And I didn't know how, so what did I do? I taught just like my instructor taught, which always wasn't the most sensitive and kind, to say the least. But he stuck it out, and then after I left that dojo, eventually he came back to me and trained with me again, and he's been with me ever since. And so it's great to have him as a black belt friend. All right. So this is to certify to Darren Italiani on the 17th day of August 2019 has contested physically and mentally and shown all the requirements and knowledge in the art of Goshin Jutsu Karate to confer upon him the rank of Godan, making him a member in good standing of the Italiani Goshin Jutsu Karate Dojo in Japan. You can't be any weight until you're ready for 6 on. You still gotta have this belt.
What about jujitsu?
I'll bet jiu-jitsu. And then, last but not least, Joe Johnson, of course, he told you a little bit about his story. He's been with me quite a long time. When I first started my own main dojo, Joe and his father were two of my first really adult students. And it was a little intimidating at first because his dad came in and his dad was older than me. And so I was a young guy, but he came in and he trained hard and brought us on. And we all owe it to Phil Beto, right?
Yeah.
We all owe it to Phil Beto, wherever he may be. Because Phil Beto, for some reason, insisted that they lived in Edinboro. They insisted to come into Erie and train in my dojo. I don't know how Phil knew me or knew of me. Insisted. Joe came along with him. And then, before you knew it, Phil had quit. And then, well, Joe was stuck around, driving in from Edinboro all that time. And actually bringing people like Coons in, from Edinboro and everything. So, fantastic. This is to certify that Joe Johnson, on the 17th day of August 2019, has contested physically and mentally and shown all the requirements and knowledge in the art of Goshin Jutsu Karate to confer upon him the rank of Godan, making him a member in good standing of the Italiani Goshin Jutsu Karate Dojo in Japan. Yeah, I keep getting wider, but not taller. I don't know. Maybe on that growth spurt still. I'm going to puberty. Forget it. I keep the faith. There might be a growth spurt in it for me somewhere. I only know how short I am when I see a picture of me standing next to other people. Then, oh, that's not That's right. That's right. I'm counting on that. I'll just say that thank you to Sensei Burgos for letting us use his fine dojo. I thank you all for coming and participating.
Grandmaster Capella couldn't come today, and he asked me to show up to be here. I'm a little embarrassed and disappointed that Master Mullins and Master Hicks aren't here, but I have a written document in my trunk that says this guy's supposed to be promoted. I can't promote him. He's 7th, I'm 8th. I can't promote him to 8th because that's the same rank I am. But as far as I'm concerned, he's an 8th degree black belt. Capella couldn't be here to do it. The 2 guys I think that were supposed to show up did. But if it's up to me, he's the same as me.